Liset Castillo. Who are you?
I am an artist living in the Zuidas. My name is, like you said, Liset Castillo. I'm from Cuba. I live for my second time in the Netherlands since 8 years ago in the Zuidas. And
Where at the Zuidas?
Where? In New Amsterdam?
New Amsterdam. Oh, that's nearby. That's
Yes.
quite nearby. And why did you choose for the Zuidas?
I choose for my husband.
You choose love.
And he lived in the south, in the Zuidas in New Amsterdam. So yeah, it was very strange at the beginning because I was living in New York.
Yes.
And we decided I moved back to Amsterdam. And at the beginning it was strange because of it was like living in the financial district of New York.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah.
And for
because
me,
there were not many residents at the moment when you lived here.
Well, they were starting to build 900 Malerland.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah.
And yeah, like all this side of Gustav Mahlerland.
Yeah.
So yeah, there were not so many buildings. And yeah, coming from New York, I was living in Williamsburg, the so-called epicenter of coolness. So to come from a very artistic district to a financial district,
Quite a difference.
it was quite
a
different environment. Yeah.
And you are a well-known, recognized artist. Did you have exhibitions? Of course, you have exhibitions, but where?
Yes, I have a span of more than 20 years art career. I actually started here in the Netherlands because I came from Cuba to the Netherlands to participate at the Ateliers, an international artist program from the Netherlands.
Very ambitious.
Sponsored at that time by the Dutch Culture Ministry. I don't know if it's still sponsored by them, but at that time I had incredible. It was a 2 years program, and I have an incredible input in my development as an artist. But really, like exhibitions started when I moved to New York in 2005 on a Guggenheim Fellowship, and I went there for 3 months, and I really stayed for almost a decade. And that's where all my shows came.
Famous and yeah.
Well, that's where I got most of my shows because I also got a gallery in New York, black and white gallery, and I just got invitation to many museum shows, international shows, not only in the U.S.
And you also met very famous artists, right? Like Steve McQueen.
Steve McQueen was one of my tutors at the Ateliers. Together with Marlene Dumas, Marijke van Banderman, Tacita Dean, C.L. Foyer, Harold Carroll, which are really international names, both from the Netherlands and from abroad. And those were my tutors. Those were really the people who, after 12 years art education in Cuba, I had my education here, 2 years at the Atelier. So these are the people who really were at the end of my artistic education.
Yeah. And okay, so then the COVID came. And then what happened?
This was last year.
Yes.
Yes. So last year, after I came back from New York, I continued to develop my career abroad.
Yeah.
I had really no intention to do anything in the Netherlands because I had enough abroad, and I also have kids, so I didn't have much time to do other local things. But last year I decided I wanted to do more local things because I was spending so much time in the Netherlands. So I started to do some research in. I'm not a painter. I'm actually a sculptor. I work with sand. I make.
You make contemporary art, right?
Yes, I do contemporary art, conceptual art mainly, and I work mainly with sand and pigment. And I don't do really paintings, but I do work like sculptures on canvases.
Oh yeah.
And I also do sculptures of pigments. So last year I got really into 17th century Dutch painting.
Yes.
and a little bit of the whole of the Dutch cultural history. And I came across the work of Rachel Rausch, but the way recently was, how you say, she's now in the Hall of Fame in the Gallery in the Rijksmuseum, together with two other female artists for the first time in the Rijksmuseum, in the Hall of Fame. I don't know, for those who doesn't know what is the Hall of Fame in the Rijksmuseum, is where all the masters of 17th century are big names like Rembrandt, the Nachtwacht, Wacht, that's how you say.
Yeah.
Is at the end of the hall, so...
So you got inspired by her colors, her paintings.
Since last year I've been involved in this new project. Maybe you are seeing some of my work here.
Yeah, we saw it.
And some of the Rachel Rausch works in which I've been selecting her color palettes and using in my new work, which is made on paintings, paintings of sand and pigments, based on Rachel Rausch colors. Also her flower imagery, and sculptures of pigments, actually.
And do you have a studio? Can we see it or?
Yes, I have an incredible space at Van der Valk Hotel,
that's nearby.
Zuidas, Amsterdam. Thanks to you.
Welcome.
And Van der Valk Hotel, Zuidas, Amsterdam, has organized in the parking space some working spaces for artists and creative people in order to do a return to the community. Artists or creative people can stay there for 6 months to produce their projects.
Oh, great.
And of course, they would love that the artists and the creative will be more involved with the activities of the hotel.
Yes.
But because of the lockdown, I'm actually working like full-time alone in the studio, which is great because...
and it's nearby.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's very nearby. I go in my back feeds, and it's really wonderful.
Back feeds? I thought you had your driver license, finally.
Oh, yeah, finally. After 5 times.
Good for you. Good for you.
But I mainly go in my bicycle, It's the same street that we are...
Yeah, it's just at the end.
So Gustav Mahlerland will become now... is after the... AFC.
AFC. The football
where my kid goes.
Yeah, it's just very nearby.
Yes.
And can people visit? So, do you have art that can
right now
see your art?
I'm working in a lot of works at the same time because last year I had
like this is Send, right?
Yeah, this is one of my previous work from 2019. It was for ARCO International Art Fair, a series of world fashion bags made out of sand. And
does it have a name?
The series is called The Triumph of Labor.
The
Triumph
of Labor. It
Labor.
is a triumph if you can buy that kind of bag. I mean,
yeah, exactly, but also because they're made of sand, it reflects on the fact that everything will go away, will disappear, will.
But these are designer bags, right? So
these are inspired in the designer bags, but these I made them by hand with sand.
Oh, wow.
So they're sculptures of sand.
Wow. So it's also quite heavy, I think.
Yeah, it's the sand is mixed with the glue that makes it permanent. But the whole idea is that nothing is forever, not even the designer bags or you know, like everything is so volatile, currently.
Finally, it disappears.
Yes.
And this is also sand, right?
Yeah, this is also a painting of sand. This is called Motherland, and this is about the umbrella.
Yeah.
As society as an umbrella that has not the power to protect us because the holes. So if you use the umbrella...
It's a fake protection.
It's not, I would not say fake, but the umbrella cannot protect us.
Okay.
And that's why I call it Motherland, because it's inspired in my condition as a Cuban.
Yeah.
So, well, the political situation in Cuba and the difficulties of Cuba as government, as society. So that's why I call it motherland.
It's a nice
because the umbrella cannot fulfill the function to protect you against the rain, or you understand.
So this is like the symbol of how it goes in Cuba, right?
I think it goes in many places in a way.
Yeah.
I'm talking about me as a Cuban because we always, Cuban artists, I think in the end, we always have this political background in everything we do. We do a lot of conceptual work based in our background, our political background. So this is from a series of another sand paintings. I want to know that this is sand in different colors. So the whole painting is made out of sand. So
it's very, how do you say that, hard work, I think.
Yeah, it's a very layered work with a lot of craftsmanship on it.
Yeah.
Usually when I go into producing any work, I do a lot of research before I go into the canvas itself, because every little grain of sand I put, it has to be soaked in advance, otherwise it doesn't really work. So I create a lot of work thinking, of course, like many artists, first with an idea.
Yeah.
And I actually do a lot of sketching before, sketching with my designer, the person who does the 3Ds for me and the projection of my ideas. Because once I go into the work, I really have to make sure I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yes,
because I'm not a painter. I'm doing sculptures.
You can do it like only once, I mean.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise it goes wrong.
Yeah.
So it's because it's not about expressing a gesture or something, but more about expressing an idea. And usually the ideas are really, I will say, direct. So I have to going directly into the production.
Yeah. I understand.
So I want to say at the Van der Valk Hotel, I am producing actually a series of a lot of paintings made out of with sand and pigments also, that I would like to exhibit in my next solo exhibition in Amsterdam.
Okay.
I don't know yet exactly when, because right now everything is closed.
Yeah, that's true.
And where, because I am in the talks for the space where this work will be exhibited. But the work can be seen if people want...
In your studio, right?
If someone is interested to go and see, they can...
They can contact me.
Contact Ruth at Zuidas Today, and
I will arrange a tour.
A tour, yeah, you can arrange...
Where you can see your marvelous art. Is there a difference being an artist here in the Netherlands and then being an artist in the US? Is there a different approach being an artist, or like?
I have to say I love producing art in the Netherlands.
Yes.
Because I don't know many people here. I don't have a lot of friends here, so I don't have to go party so much.
But you have children.
With my friends, I have children here, so. When I used to live in New York, I had all kind of collectors, galleries, invitation, exhibitions, connectivity.
Yeah.
I don't have this in the Netherlands, but in the Netherlands, I have a lot of time to work and to concentrate.
Okay. So
and I also work with some factories and some people here in the Netherlands that are super good, super professional, and that I didn't have in the US. So it's a balance of things between the Netherlands and the US.
And is there something you are missing? Because when we talked before, you said, I miss Spanish food. And I have news for you.
Really?
Yes, there is this new hotel, Hotel Melia. I think you know Melia, right?
Yeah,
because you have a sister living in Madrid, right?
Yes.
And they're just opening. They opened yesterday. And they have this big sky bar hotel inside, it's called. And they have, their kitchen is genuine Spanish. So,
Croquetas españolas.
sí. Yes, yes. And we went there yesterday, so it is like to die for. So, I will
That
invite
is
you.
something I miss in this neighborhood.
What?
Like a Spanish
Spanish food.
restaurant.
Yeah, well, you don't have to miss it anymore.
Now I can go up in the.
You can, yeah, but the restaurants are still closed. But I think within maybe a few weeks, it will open, and then we are going to have dinner there. Tapas.
That's very nice.
Patata bravas.
Vanaf Hotel also has really nice terraces.
I know. I went there. Yeah. Nice.
I don't know if they have a Spanish food, but they have very nice terraces.
I think they have a French kitchen, I wanted to ask you, is there something you miss? And you told me Spanish food. And do you have a favorite spot at Zuidas? Why are you laughing?
Honestly, right now is my studio at the Vanaf.
Okay.
I love
there.
going to work there, and everybody is so nice.
I know.
It's really, it's a really important space for me now. The studio.
I think for an artist, it's very important to work in a studio, to express yourself. And I'm so happy that you found yourself a place.
Yeah, because not all the places are. I cannot work everywhere. Like, it's very important the space where you work. And I don't like to work far away from home, especially now that I have kids.
Yeah, I understand.
So for me to have everything around this neighborhood is perfect. When I don't want to cook, I call the schnitzel.
Bush? Yeah.
Bush? Yeah, I love it. And it's and when they have McDonald's, my kid would love it.
Yeah, McDonald's is coming, but that's a little bit.
Nobody knows yet.
Nobody knows.
Okay.
No, nobody knows.
They love McDonald's.
No. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And next time when the restaurants are open, I will invite you. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.